Well, I hope everybody's having a good day today. Well, you see, I want to kind of get something off my chest, if you will, make a video, and I would like to talk about something today that's sort of been on my mind because it was mentioned in a YouTube video that I just saw. And I heard a very similar sentiment from somebody at school who I will not say the name of, but this was about 2017, around there. It has to do with the dynamic between neurotypical and neurodivergent people in the United States. This person said something along the lines of this, and I want to address it in this video. They said, well, we have an Autism Awareness Month. Vast majority of us are not on that spectrum. He said, why do we have an Autism Awareness Month, but we don't have a Neurotypical Awareness Month? He was saying most of all of us are straight sexually, but we don't celebrate being straight, but gay people always celebrate being gay. He basically says his sentiment is that we are the majority, we are the vast majority, but yet we are completely irrelevant. Well, I would like to address that right now in this video to everybody. Let me explain to you why we don't have a Neurotypical Awareness Month. Let me explain to you why we don't have a Straight Pride Month. And let me explain why, and I don't use this word softly, let me explain why, unless you are a fucking Nazi, why we don't have a month dedicated to white history, and why we don't go around celebrating being white. Because those are the only groups in the history of the landmass that we call North and South America that never struggled based off of those features. Do you understand that LGBT, as an example, LGBT acceptance in America peaked around the year 2020, and it has slightly gone down since then. There's still a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of improvement to be done, right? In the work of laws and rights, and then also, broader acceptance in the world. Straight people never had to worry about that because they were always in the majority. White people, in fact, the only group in the history of this landmass that we call North and South America that ever oppressed, that ever widely basically ostracized another group of people, committed genocide against and ethnically cleansed the other people groups, was straight white Christian men. Do you know that? Probably not. Maybe so. But there's so much history these people don't want you to know. And when it comes to Christianity, right? Why are we talking about the Jewish struggle so much in America and the Muslim struggle so much? Why aren't we talking about the Christian struggle? Because that is the one religious group that never ever went through widespread bigotry in this country. In fact, there was a wide, I don't know if you guys knew this, but back around, we'll say pre-1940s America, I know it was a big thing around the 20s and around the 1910 and 1919, around that era, there was a wide wave of anti-Catholicism in America. Now keep in mind, Catholicism, Catholics, that's just another branch of Christianity. But yet this group faced so much hate and so much bigotry from people. In a similar way, a lot of people are anti-Semitic. So it was particularly like the Baptists, what's it called? Not the Lutherans, what's it called? Groups like that, basically. It was those Christian groups that were more accepted and were more, considered true Christians, if you will, true Americans. And then you had a lot of people, places of Southern Europe, of the Balkans, right? A lot of Slavs. A lot of those people we often consider white. Those people were not even considered white. It was the people of English, and maybe a little bit of German, Russian descent. So North Central, Northwestern European. So the only group that had full rights and privilege and that was embraced by society was straight Anglo-Saxon, white, neurotypical Lutheran Christian men. Do you understand how closed-minded and how my way or the highway that is? That is absolutely ridiculous. All of this is to say, to the original point, why don't we have a Neurotypical Awareness Month or a Straight Pride Month, or why is there women's marches but not men's marches? Because that is the only group that never had to struggle in this land because of who they were. You guys understand something. You guys understand that right now, in particular, a lot of the Baptists and the evangelicals, right? When it comes to crimes that Christians have committed in the past against, your Native Americans, there was the civil rights movement, the bombing of the girls' school. If you leave it up to those groups, those Christians, if you leave it up to them, a lot of them will romanticize the past as if that was all great. A lot of them actually will pretend as if those events didn't even happen. But, as I've alluded to this whole video, if you decide to become a student of history, even if just for one day, you will quickly learn that the only group in the history of this land that oppressed another people were straight white Christian men. And it was not gays, it was not women, just more broadly. I mean, women couldn't even vote until like 1920, okay? 1919, around there. Give me a break. It wasn't the Muslims, it wasn't the Jews, it wasn't people who are autistic, who are on the spectrum in some way, who are neurodivergent. Those people have been ridiculed for so long, so savagely, it's not even funny. If you are part of the group of people who is the most privileged, a straight white Christian man, especially an Anglo-Saxon white, Lutheran, Baptist, right, evangelical Christian man, and you think you are oppressed in this country in the year 2026, shame on you. Because that's the only group that never had to struggle. Folks like me, mixed, okay? Do you understand? We was not even considered, okay, throughout much of this country. And I'm going to start rounding this off here. But in our history, do you understand that because there was only a narrow group of people that was considered to be true American, so to speak, that meant you was treated like a dog. You was treated so poorly. You were looked down upon so badly, especially pre-1865 if you were black in this country as a slave. Did you know this? A lot of slave masters would beat, would torture, would fucking brutalize a black slave if he tried to escape in front of other black slaves as a way of saying, this is what's going to happen to you if you dare get out of line. A lot of the people who are bitching and complaining, the only people who have ever been privileged are you. You are the only people. You are the only fucking people. And how dare you come on here and try to ask, why don't we have a Neurotypical Awareness Month? Why don't we have a Straight Pride Month? Why can't we shout white pride? Why are more people proud of being Christian? Because a Muslim and a Christian cannot be proud of their religions in this country for the same reason. a white and a black person or a Latino or whatever cannot be proud of who they are and their heritage, what have you, for the exact same reason in this country because of the bigotry almost all those groups faced for so long. And you just throw it out, you throw it all out the window. Oh, we're all just human. You know what? Why can't we all just be human? Why can't we worry about who has what disorder, or who's black and who's white, who's Christian, Muslim, or Buddhist, or atheist, or whatever? Why can't we all just get together? You people are literally the reason why we couldn't get together for so long. I hope you got something out of this video. You guys take care.